9. Today, Maricopa County Sheriff Paul Penzone announced that he will not run for a third term in office and will be stepping down in January, a year earlier than his term would have ended.
I leave with joy in my heart. I leave with opportunities in front of me. I'm not running from a fight because I never have and I never will. But I do recognize this. I'll be damned if I'll do 3 terms under federal court oversight for a debt I never incurred and not be given the chance to serve this community in the manner that I could if you take the other hand from being tied behind my back. Because the future without law enforcement doesn't look good. The future with good law enforcement means it will thrive here.
This will also conclude Penzone's 30-plus year career in public safety. Penzone, who's a Democrat, defeated Republican juggernaut Joe Arpaio in the 2016 race for sheriff by a wide margin and then was reelected in 2020. Penzone's announcement today came as a surprise, but he was clear about his frustrations with the job. As he put it, trying to protect the people of Maricopa County while working with one hand tied behind his back because of the legal burdens that he inherited from former Sheriff Joe Arpaio.
Team 12 political insider Bram Resnick has more on what comes next. Bram?
At Caribe, behind the scenes, Sheriff Paul Penzone was telling some people he wouldn't run for a third term, but his resignation was a shocker. 3 months from now, the Maricopa County Board will have to pick his successor.
I think that there was a cloud over this office for a long time.
That cloud had a name.
It's amazing what I say and what I do and what I get away with.
Joe Arpaio. Career cop Paul Penzone booted the self-proclaimed America's toughest sheriff out of office in 2016. Penzone won re-election in 2020. In both races, he racked up more votes than any candidate in Maricopa County. Now Penzone has announced he won't run for a third term in 2024. So what happens next? The Maricopa County Board fills vacancies in elected countywide offices. Once Sheriff Penzone resigns in January, as he plans, the board will set up a process to appoint a new sheriff. The Republican-controlled board typically vets applicants, then makes the appointment. The new sheriff must be a registered Democrat, like Penzone. And the new elected Maricopa County Sheriff would take office after the November 2024 election.
Okay, Bram, you're someone who, you're very in tune with the inner workings of city officials, state officials, all of that. Did this come as a surprise to you?
Well, again, as I said at the outset, he'd been talking about not running for a third term. I know his frustrations with the job were pretty clear. This wasn't the first time I'd heard about his feelings about the court monitor who's been appointed to watch over him and all the deputies he's had to dedicate to that, and how that did, in his mind, hold back the proper policing, protection of Maricopa County. So, third term, not a surprise. Resigning now, not a surprise. You go in hindsight, well, given some things that have happened lately, maybe this was the right time. He's somebody with his experience in law enforcement, his experience running one of the largest sheriff's department in the country, gives him many opportunities.
And with that said, the thing that strikes me is, and I take the sheriff at his word, that it is very hard to conduct business in the 3rd largest county in the country with one hand tied behind your back because of the federal constraints. So how do you attract the brightest and the best with a sheriff's office that is grossly undermanned and has this oversight?
That's the challenge he was dealing with, getting it from both sides, right? The court monitor forcing the sheriff to devote many people to dealing with all the paperwork, the bureaucracy, the data tracking necessary to meet the standards set by the courts and the monitor, versus the difficult time the county sheriff's office is having, like any employer in the state, finding qualified people. 2 really tough burdens kind of tugging at each other.
All right, I guess we'll have to wait to see what names get put out there now, right, as a replacement.
It's got to be a Democrat. It's got to be, and that'll be tough to find. You want to find a Democrat who is moderate, has a background in law enforcement. There aren't many around. Yeah. I can think of one, but we'll see.
All right.